Number 1, don't be passive. Do something. You must actively stand up and speak out against anti-Asian racism in all forms at all times. Number 2, be your own hero. Stop looking around. You have to take your own personal ownership and responsibility to protect yourself, your family, and your community. Number 3, be brave together. Don't back down from hate. We are stronger together, and we need everyone to step up for the community. Asians are? Thank y'all for coming out. Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us and tuning in from the Asian Justice Rally, live streams, and press conferences. Thank you. It means so much to us and our community for you to support this movement right now. I'm Hudson.
I'm Jeremy.
We're two co-founders of Asian are Strong. We are a 501c3 nonprofit based in the San Francisco Bay Area, but we have partners and volunteers throughout the nation. And our goal and mission is to protect and empower the Asian Pacific Islander community.
Asians Are Strong was founded in March of 2021, immediately after the Atlanta shootings, and also a tipping point in the increasing rates of Asian hate crimes. Myself, Hudson, a bunch of friends and family just thought enough was enough, and we got together, we formed the org, and to give back, not just to the Asian American community in the San Francisco Bay Area, but also the surrounding communities throughout the entire country, as well as those allies that support us.
Yeah, we know right now the most important thing for all of us is our safety for ourselves and our loved ones. And that's what we really focus on right now, so that we can give back confidence and empower our people. Because without personal safety, we know people don't feel individually empowered. And if they don't feel individually empowered, we can't engage them in our community. And if we can't engage them, we can't create a movement, which we need to demand the changes we want.
And especially on that note, we teach situational awareness, bystander intervention, and self-defense, and we try to promote a fun and safe environment so that you're not just doing this as a standalone activity. Self-defense and martial arts should be a long-term project that you're training on a daily basis, and by being well at those repetitions and you're training and having fun, by having fun you're actually going to training, and by training now you're better equipped and set up for success for if stuff hits the fan. And especially on that, you'll build the confidence, and we have 3 call to actions to support that with: don't be passive, be your own hero, and be brave together.
Yeah, we promote a lifestyle. It's just not watching one video or one content. You know, we usually do these live so that me and Jeremy and our team can actually do live webinars and workshops with you, but we can't today. We're actually at the rally. I think I might be marching right now, and Jeremy's actually hosting the luncheon in San Francisco. So we're gonna roll our top 10 most popular and best videos for all of you that haven't seen us. And if you want more of our content, follow us at Asian Are Strong on Instagram. That's where we're most active. Or get in touch with us at asianarstrong.org. We can do something private for your company or your team or any of your community members. We love to work with people that way. So we're gonna see some of our best videos. We cover bystander intervention, self-defense, how to defend against a knife attack, how to properly kick someone in the dick, and even defend against multiple attackers as well. So, you know, without further ado, we're gonna roll the top 10 videos for you right now.
So our next self-defense move of the night is going to be what's called a low single. Okay, so it's a little bit more of an advanced move, but I assure you I've used this many times against much larger opponents in both jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Okay, so in this situation is another worst case scenario. It's when the perpetrator has gotten the person to the ground. Okay, so right here is Grace is going to be on the floor. Okay, Hudson is going to be the attacker. Again, worst case scenario, he's punching her. Now in this situation, I know it's going to be hard, but Grace needs to stay calm and look for her openings. Okay, so what she's going to do, right, as Hudson's attacking her, she's going to wrap her arms around the closest foot to her. Okay, so for this situation, it's going to be Hudson's left foot. Okay, and that's so now Grace needs to get to her knees as fast as possible. Okay, and from that point on, She's going to clamp down on Hudson's foot and ankle while pushing on her left shoulder. Okay? Now, once Hudson's on the ground, it's not over yet. Okay? So, she's going to get in here. So, Grace needs to secure this takedown before she stands up. Okay? So, that's, again, she's hugging the leg, putting pressure on Hudson's shin or on his knee. Now, once she's achieved that, she's going to take her outside hand, she's going to plant it on the floor, and then she's going to do what's called a technical stand-up. Okay? So, she's going to get on one leg at a time. And as she's doing that, she's going to drag Hudson's foot towards her so Hudson can fully be on his back. Boom. Now, Grace can do a multitude of different things. Okay, she can kick him in the face, kick him in the stomach. Okay, stop him on the dick. But the main thing is she's gotten up, he's on the ground, and she can now run away.
This video is circulating now of another elder Asian woman being attacked and robbed in broad daylight. There is no excuse for the perpetrator's actions. But what is most infuriating about this video is watching that bystander stand there and do absolutely nothing. I mean, what is he thinking? The victim is literally looking at him, asking for help, and he just throws up his hands and walks away. We are reposting a bystander intervention technique that he could have used in that scenario to help her instead of just walking away. Hi, today's self-defense move is for bystander intervention. Specifically for a scenario when you have someone attacking another person, standing up, throwing punches at them. So you have an attacker and they're beating someone up. You come across this on the street or something. What you're gonna first do is come up from behind the attacker. You're gonna grab him by the top and pull him back a little bit. Here, this actually puts all their weight on their back leg. This is the leg you're gonna attack. You're gonna step sideways, stomp their knee down onto the ground, and now with two hands on their clothes, you're gonna pull them slightly backwards towards that down knee until they fall down. Make sure you tell your victim to run, and you can transfer to a knee on belly to control your attacker perpetrator, or you can get up and run as well. Alright, today's self-defense move of the day is how to escape a hair pull, which is obviously more common for women, but for guys with long hair as well. So if your perpetrator is attacking you from behind and grabs your hair and pulls you, one of the first things you want to do is attack with your back arm, elbow to the face right here. You want to turn and step into it to close the distance from the hair pull so they don't have leverage to pull. So pull my hair. If he stays away from you, you can't hit back. So you want to step in and attack. From here, if it doesn't work, what you want to do is close the distance by collapsing his elbow in. So from here, this stops him from pulling your hair even more and separating distance. Try to pull back a little bit. So you want to hold it and just tug on here, right? From here, once you feel comfortable, you want to do an up elbow. Aim for the nose and chin. When you do this, keep your hand tight to your body. You're going to drive from your hip and your foot upward here. And if he still hasn't let go, grab the back of his neck and throw it knee to the solar plex here. That should at least bend him over. Push your perpetrator away.
Hey, give me that phone.
Hey, what are you doing, man? Hey, what are you now? What are you doing? Stop! It's on my phone!
Hey, give me that phone.
Hey, what are you doing, man? Help! Hey everybody, so today we are going to teach you another self-defense technique for when you're attacked on public transportation or like a bus. This scenario is when we're sitting down and someone is directly in front of you. So to understand that first is that in this type of environment or any kind of public transportation, there's a lot less room, a lot more obstacles in your way that you have to be cautious of. One of the key things is that the aisle is your main point of exit and regress from a bad situation. So if someone's standing there, you have to reestablish that leverage as soon as possible. However, when someone's coming, an attacker is standing directly in front of you, you lose that. So if the attacker is here, I can't stand up, right? Because he's going to attack me. He has to leverage. However, say I was on my phone and I saw the attacker coming, the first thing I want to do is look up and get away. You want to get that distance, get back into the aisle, exit if you can. However, say it's too late and you don't see the attacker coming ahead of time. He's here, he's attacking you. Drop your phone so you have two hands to defend yourself. The first thing you want to do is put your hands up, so it protects your head, makes it harder for him to punch you. The next step, the most important thing, is you're basically trying to close the distance between the attacker and you so they cannot generate enough momentum to hit you and hurt you. The way you can do that is you're grabbing anything of his clothes, his body, you're going to kick out his leg and pull him into your body as tight as you can. You're going to establish an arm control here, and as well as neck control back here, so you hold his head down and control his body. As he tries to get up, you're trying to kick his leg down, keep him down. You're basically trying to mitigate as much damage to you as possible. Even his free arm is going to be much harder for him to hit you because he doesn't have leverage. So right here, you're asking people to help you. You're yelling at the bus driver to stop the bus and get other people to intervene. You're basically stalling and mitigating harm to your body as much as possible.
So I'm going to tell you about the 8 stroller safety awareness tips. So number 1, get off your phone. I know we always want to be on our phone, we want to listen to music, we want to talk to our friends. At the same time, we have to be aware of our surroundings. Number 2, take off or do not use your noise canceling headphones. I know you want to listen to music, I know you want to be on your phone and talk to your friends again, but you have to be aware of what's around you. Okay, especially if you can't, see somebody coming up from your side. If you do want to listen to music, you could use a Bluetooth speaker, like what I have in my stroller caddy. Just as loud and just as fun. So number 3, keep your weapons of choice, say your pepper spray or a pocket knife, with you in your stroller caddy. I like to keep my pepper spray easily available just in case something happens. Easily available. Number 4, do not hang things off of your stroller. I know as moms, we like the convenience of having everything with us, and our hands are always busy. But if you keep things on your stroller, it really sets you as a target for different perpetrators, attackers, robbers, that our stuff is just with us right here. And if they do pull on your bag that's attached to your stroller, it pulls the stroller and your child with them. So it could harm your kid as well. Another thing is that you just want to be safe. Put everything under your stroller, what it's used for. You can keep everything clear. Number 5, keep your phone and your bag separate. Just in case they take your bag, you would still have your phone. I like to keep my phone in my stroller caddy right here with me. And also, you can also keep your wallet with you. I like to keep mine in my pocket, away from my bag, just in case they can take it. Tip number 6, use your bag as a distraction. Say if you get robbed or attacked, you can actually throw your purse away to keep you and your baby safe. That's most important. This is why we also want to keep your phone and your bag separate. Tip number 7, if you're walking on the sidewalk, always walk towards oncoming traffic. Right now, I have no visual about what's behind me in case somebody might jump out of their car and grab my belongings. So right now, I'm walking towards traffic. Cars are coming towards me. Okay? This way, I have a visual for any potential threats. And if you need to, walk on the other side of the street, just for your safety and your baby's safety. Tip number 8, when you're walking on the sidewalk, always walk away from the curb. Right now, I can't tell if a car is going to come up right next to me and grab my baby, or grab my belongings. So I want to keep safe. I want to stay on this side of the sidewalk, closer to the building. That way I have more visual about what's in front of me and what's on the side of me. See how much space there is, and I have more time to react. And in case a bystander is there, they can come and help.
Stop. Drop your knife.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm here today with Jeremy from Asians Are Strong. Thanks for helping me out, brother. And we're just going over the defense technique against that low line stabbing attack that's straight up center line. So like this, we're just basically stabbing in the center line, okay? So we talked about in our last video about the characteristics of a knife fight. If you don't know, please go and check that video. If not, we're gonna break down the tactics of how to approach this situation. So if I can't aware and avoid because I try to, but I end up backing myself into a corner or I'm in an elevator, I have no other choice but to defend myself because I can't escape. So the first thing is, if you noticed in the video, when he was separated from me and further away, my fighting stance was kind of like this. Then as he closed distance, I went from here to here. Why? Because if I have my hands out right here, he can literally take the knife and cut my hand if he wanted to. Stab or just kind of like just slash at it like that. I'm giving him a target. But when I bring my hands close to myself and make a fist, and I'm really tight like so, what I'm doing, I'm also protecting my flexor tendons. Flexor tendons is what control your grip. If I get cut here, I lose the ability to grip. Also, me bringing everything in tight forces him to come closer so I can effectively defend myself. So this is your fighting stance if you know that a knife is coming at you. Super tight like this. Just keeping your elbows in. Think T-Rex arms and just basically sniffing your knuckles. Okay. So we want to be able to minimize injury to yourself. So the attack is coming. So if you're a female or carrying a purse, that's what I see on the street a lot. We're going to use this as an example. What I see a lot is people holding it in their dominant hand. That creates an issue. I recommend carrying the purse in your non-dominant hand so you can use your dominant hand to push away and have strength to create distance. If you have a laptop in here, you can use that as a shield. Like, hey, stop, stop, stop. He's coming in. I can use that to brace myself and maybe even push him away and then run. Maybe if I can drop the purse and give it to him, it gives me a less weight to run, and it's just a laptop. Your life is more precious than that. So don't worry about your belongings, okay? So now we're going to go into a little detail about the technique. It's called the split X. And in traditional martial arts, it's usually taught like this. So when he comes in for that low line stab, they create this kind of like low line, like this little X sign, and they stop it like so in traditional martial arts. The problem with this is you have to be precise, and also you're using two hands like so, where it's to the ability where he can use his hand and push down onto my hands, pull his knife back, and get cut. So that creates an issue. But we can take the basics foundation from this and teach the split X. Let me show you. So we're going to start off teaching by this motion here. What we're going to do is we're going to open our hands, and one's going to go high and one's going to go low. My right hand, the outside of my forearm is making contact between his elbow and his shoulder right here, and then the outside of my left hand is going to go inside his right forearm in between the elbow and the wrist. So it creates this kind of split X, and it creates this sort of a funnel. And what you're doing is creating very powerful structure. So as Jeremy's coming trying to stab me, he's not going to make contact. And if you can go as hard as you can, go a little bit harder, 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 as hard as you can. Keep going, as hard as you can. Go. One more, a little harder, a little bit harder. Cool, thank you. You all right? So as you can see, that works really, really well. And if you notice, Jeremy was grabbing me here. So in a real life situation, what people tend to do instinctually is, I want you to walk up to me and grab my shirt and then try to stab me, okay? They normally try to take care of this arm first. But you have to understand, this is not what's gonna kill you. This is what's gonna kill you. Who cares if he's grabbing me? If you notice when he was grabbing me, I paid no attention to that. This is what's gonna kill me, so I'm gonna focus my attention on this. I can still create structure, and even if he grabs me in a really tight clinch, like so, so hold me down really tight. Like, I can't move, I can't go left and right, it's pretty strong. And he comes in to stab, I can still, go ahead, try to stab. I can still create that separation between myself and the knife, okay? So once again, that split X, keeping good solid structure. The next thing that we're gonna do is go in. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my back of my right hand, I'm gonna go palm down and hook on the back of the elbow. The reason why I wanna do that is I wanna have two hands against one. So also, the knife attacks are in repetitive motion, so as he pulls back, I might not be able to hold on, so pull back really hard. I have missed the opportunity, but I can easily come back and create that split X structure when he comes in again. So if I get a good hold, and he's able to, when he pulls back, it actually drives this momentum for me to knee. And what I'm kneeing is basically anything low line. I can go for the groin, but what I really want to do is basically get his leg to post back. So when he If he's standing up straight like this, he has pretty good structure, but if I post his leg back, it drops. You see him drop, so I have more control of him, and he's structurally broken. So once again, coming to that split X, as he pulls back, I'm gonna grab the back of his elbow. When he pulls, I'm gonna step forward with my left leg, I'm gonna get into the knee, which breaks the structure, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my back muscles like a rowing motion. I'm not using my biceps, I'm using my back, rowing. Structurally, it's stronger than your biceps. So I'm rolling him in, bringing his elbow to the tip of my sternum, okay? From this point, I'm just basically gonna take my left hand and cover my right, my left palm to cover up my right knuckle. It looks like this. And what this does is creates a very solid base where there's no room to wiggle. So if he tries to pull his arm out, I'm pretty solid, okay? At this point, I'm gonna use my right hand, I'm gonna pretend I'm shaking hands, and my left hand is waving bye-bye. So once again, shaking hand, waving bye-bye, like this. I'm gonna clip them together like that, and it's gonna be right on this tricep tendon, and I'm gonna bring my shoulders parallel 90 degrees like so. So it's pretty tight, so try to pull away, all right? And then I know what you're thinking, oh, I can just take his leg and take him down. I get it, but as I'm instructing this is just a moment in time, okay? So from this situation, once I have control of the arm, I know that he can't stab me. Notice that the knife is pointing down. When it's pointing down, you're doing it correctly. If the knife is pointing up or like this, he can easily pull away. So go ahead and pull away. There's no structure in that, okay? So knife is pointing down, I'm here. At this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a foot change to take him down. What I'm doing is I'm taking my right leg, I'm just gonna step back, not too, like I'm walking, I'm stepping backwards, just like you're walking. And then I'm gonna basically take his head and drive it toward my right foot, which takes him down flat on the stomach, like so. So from here, boom. And then what I always talk about is you never ever wanna drop your knees onto the ground because you don't know if there are needles or broken glass. You always wanna land on your opponent. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my right knee and I'm putting on top of his head, taking my left knee and dropping it on his ribs. At this point, I'm gonna give verbal cues to drop the knife. If he does not drop the knife, I need to break something on him that will cause him not to attack me. So what I'll do is I'm basically gonna reach forward and do a Superman motion until his shoulder pops off out of alignment. So I'm dislocating that shoulder. At that point, how do I break safety? I'm just gonna go like this. I can push off, get up. If I want to make sure he doesn't come up after me, I just stomp on this ankle to break it and then run, okay? So putting that all together, I have my fighting stance. The split X comes out, I grab the back of the elbow. As he pulls back, I step forward knee, bringing the shoulder or his elbow to my sternum. I create that grip, I take him down, and I land on top of him, giving him verbal cues to drop the knife. And at that point, if you don't feel safe to to get up, you can just yell and help, ask for help nearby until the cops get there. So that's basically it. Any questions? Cool.
I go to Vegas with my mom for her birthday. Just eating at the Bacchanal buffet and stuff like that. You pervert! Oh shit! Oh, you creep! Hey everyone. So today we're gonna go over the proper technique to how to execute a groin strike or a kick or knee to the dick. Now, there are three main things to consider when you're thinking about executing a move like this. That's number one is distance. Number two is positioning, leg positioning of your perpetrator. And number three is positioning of where to attack, where to aim basically. So number one, distance is gonna dictate what kind of strike you can use at all. If my perpetrator is standing this far away, I can't knee him this far. There's only two I can do. That is the soccer kick here, or the like the Spartan kick stomp towards the groin area. So we're gonna cover the first one first, and that is the knee, the one that's close quarter here. Usually, and we're using this as our fake bar scene, where a lot of times this happens when someone's really close and you wanna get them away, they may get aggressive with you. Now, a lot of times the first thing people want to do when they're thinking about doing a knee to the groin area is actually pull down and try to knee. as you can see, what happens when you do this, the person naturally brings their arm up to defend and pops their hip back, which makes it actually harder for you to hit that target. So he actually can defend it. What you can do here actually is do it to the knee, but to the face better. That is actually more effective. So going back to wanting to attack his groin, what you want to do is kind of distract his eyes, keep your hands up like, hey, stay away, stay away. This keeps him upright. His pelvic is more exposed, and so is groin area. From here, you can knee forward that way. Or like in the video, get something to cover his eyes, block his vision, like throw a drink or water here. You can push him up first and then throw a knee to the groin area. And what you want to do is come straight in towards the right under the belt line, because that's likely obviously where it's going to be. And even if it's not, he will flinch, and that might give you an opportunity to strike the head, strike the face. Now going back to a farther distance, that means if he's this far away, I can't knee. The two things I can do is going to be a soccer kick or a stop here, right? So which one do I use? That depends on how his legs are, right? So if Jeremy is coming at me and his feet are like together, and he comes to, like we're standing here, we're talking, and Jeremy's feet are together, it's a lot harder for me to do a soccer kick right up here because I have to aim right here. I'm likely looking down, so I'm telegraphing what I might do. And if Jeremy wants to defend it, he's just going to clamp his legs together and stop my leg, and now to push it back, and we're fighting again here. So in this position, thinking about his legs, what I would prefer to do is actually stop. He has a lot less defense here. And what you're going to do is bring your knee up and extend forward. And we're going to aim with our heel in this specific move because we're not actually sure where his groin is, especially if they're sagging. So this is the third point, is the positioning of where to aim, is where the groin area is. Now you want to aim where the belt line is, but if you think your perpetrator is sagging, then you can aim slightly above it. But if you aim with your heel, you get a lot more surface area on your foot, so you're going to stomp right there and kick forward and push as hard as you can and pull your foot right back. So that's knee up, kick forward, and come back. Now, in the other scenario, where a soccer kick would be more effective, is if he's walking at me. So if Jeremy walks at me, you see his leg is now open, his gait is open, I step backward, and now I can kick forward right here. And what I'm going to do is swing my hip forward and kick through. You want to kick all the way up, so that depending on where his pants are, if his pants are sagging and whatnot, you're going to kick all the way up and really make connection from there and pull back and get away. So those are your top 3 considerations when you're going to execute a groin strike. Number 1 is distance between you and the perpetrator. Number 2 is their positioning of their leg and feet. And number 3 is where to aim. Hope that helps. Got it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, no. Hey, how you guys doing? So you guys have been asking about how to deal with multiple attackers. So us here at Asians Are Strong, we have a couple of fundamental concepts that we want to share with you. Now before I begin, it's very, very important that not all confrontations are created equal. Anything could go wrong at a moment's notice. Now it's really, really important to have good situational awareness. Also, if you are in a disadvantaged position, you must change your environment so that you can be in a more advantageous position so that the odds are stacked more for you as opposed to against you. Now, number 1 is going to be identifying your attackers and the positions of them. Number 2 is going to be, once you identify the attackers and the positions, you're going to identify your escape routes, also choke points to avoid. And number 3, if you do need to engage or defend yourself, you're going to have to keep your attackers at what's called a linear pattern or a single file line. So you're engaging or defending one person at a time as opposed to 2 or 3 or 4. Number 1, actually before I begin, get off this thing. Do your best to not be glued to your phone as best as possible. It's really important to have good situational awareness, especially dealing with multiple attackers. So going into it, I need to, number 1, identify my attackers and how many there are, and the positions they're in. So as you can see from right this point, I have 2 attackers directly in front of me. Now, what I can do now, I can use my peripherals to scan my environment, make sure there's no one behind me, and if you can avoid the conflict at all costs by running away, run away. Number 2, after I identify my attackers and positions, I can start strategizing on where my escape routes are, also which choke points to avoid. Now, for example, it's a natural tendency for a lot of people to kind of back up against the wall or what's called a choke point. As you can tell from here, I've neglected completely 50% of my escape routes. It's important, especially when dealing with multiple attackers, you want to position yourself at the most advantageous position as possible. Now, as you can see, if I had just turned myself through the street, I have this whole entire open area to escape. I have the sidewalk to run up against, and also I can run up between these cars. It's important in this situation that you need to mitigate harm by getting out of there as safely as possible and doing your best to not engage with the attackers. Number 3, the very last resort. Now let's just say I'm forced to engage my attackers. It's very, very important to keep them what's called a linear pattern or a single file line. So for example here, I have 2 attackers in front of me. The last thing I want them to do is to surround me or outflank me. As you can see from here in this position, it's extremely disadvantageous. I'm forced to engage with 2 attackers at once as opposed to 1 attacker at once. Now, to create that linear pattern, you need to do whatever you need to do to either shuffle or run, using your environment to your advantage. As you can see from here, I have 2 vehicles that I can go between and I can funnel them through here. As you can see, as I'm funneling them, as they're coming through between these 2 vehicles, I can engage 1 attacker at a time as opposed to 2 of them at the same time. This whole time, I am causing a scene, I'm making noise, I'm trying to draw as much attention as possible so that either a bystander can intervene or higher echelon of care can come. Now, if I can avoid the conflict at all costs by running away,
Hey man, what are you doing, man? Hey, stop. Hey, that's my phone, man. Stop.
Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Give me. Get him.
Oh, man.
Get on him, man.
What are you doing? Oh, stop. Oh.
Yeah, stay down. Stay down.
Huh? Hey, what are you
hey,
doing?
hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop the bus. Call the police. Hey, film this. Hey guys, help me out, help me out. What's up, buddy? Welcome to the Hotel California. Hey, how you guys doing? So what we're gonna cover today is bystander intervention, specifically reverting back to our hollaback 5Ds. So what are our 5Ds? It's distract, it's delegate, it's document, direct, and also delay. First thing what I need to do is distract. How do I do that? I need to make some sort of noise. I need to cause a scene. I can do that by either yelling or singing, whatever I can possibly do to catch the attacker off guard. After that, I'm going to delegate the bus driver by alerting him to stop the bus. Why do I want him to stop the bus? Is because it's going to be much easier for me to intervene on a stationary bus as opposed to a moving bus. Now, I can delegate 1 more person to call the authorities, delegate another person to film or to document by filming. Also, if possible, getting the attention of other bystanders to help me intervene. Now, this whole entire time, I'm still making noise, I'm still causing a scene, I'm still distracting. If all else fails, this is when I'm going to actually directly intervene. Now, after I've controlled the attacker, what's really important is the delay part. I need to stay back and make sure that the victim is safe and okay.
Thank you. Cut.
Look, watch where you're going.
Yo, what's wrong, man? Hey everyone, today we're going to go over how to avoid a straight punch. We've shown you how to avoid those crazy looping haymakers, which are most of the attacks, but today we're going to show you in those certain situations where someone straight punches you right down the pipe. The first thing is, if you can avoid the confrontation, avoid it. So you have to have situational awareness, which means you need to get off your phone. You can hold it, but if you're on your phone, you need to have situational awareness and be aware of your surroundings and look around. And you try to avoid it if you can. If you see a threat coming, avoid it if you can. Now, sometimes it's not. Sometimes that person's really looking for a problem. They walk out of the way and hit you. Like in this situation, the first thing you need to do is get into a defensive stance. Put your hands up, take a step back, whatever your dominant leg is in the back here. Unlike the video where you saw earlier, I'm like here just talking like,
watch where you go.
I'm completely vulnerable. Having your hands up is going to already help you be a more advantageous and defensive position because already starts blocking some of his potential attacks. So Jeremy's throwing his hands at me, I'm already kind of blocking a little bit here, keeping my stance open. Now, The technique we're going to show you today about how to avoid it is going to be a parry and a slip. What the goal of that is, you're going to redirect the punch and move out of the way at the same time. So the first part of that is the parry. So when he throws his punch, I just move out the way. I push his hand from the outside in to redirect it away from me, right? So from behind me, you can see it. Jeremy's punching. I'm just doing that just enough to get it off my center line, right there. The second step of this is going to be a slip. And what you're going to do is when he punches, I'm going to take jab step out, a quick little step out, and move right out to his outside of the attacking arm again as well. One more time, just like that. And now we're going to put it together. So he's going to throw his punch. I push out the way, step out. That redirects his attack away from me. I'm also avoiding to the opposite side. That creates as much distance for me to be in a safe zone from here. Now I can decide what I want to do. I can either just run away, I can push him, or if he's still engaging, he's pretty tough. Here, you can do a counter punch. If you still have your phone in your hand, you can chop him right in the neck, right there. All right, so now we're gonna break down the footwork in more detail. So going back to how it all started, you wanna get into your defensive stance first, like your hands up, foot back, keeping this like fighter stance space. So if Jeremy's attacking me, I want to keep this space. I don't want to cross my leg and run backwards. I want to keep this space so I can operate, and this is how I'm going to keep my stance going. So now, when we talk about the specific techniques and moves, we're going to start off with the parry. When you throw the punch, push out the way, you don't have to move your feet at all, really. For here, you're just going to redirect the punch out of the way and slip to the side. So the slip is when you actually have to take a step. So what you're going to do is when he punches, you're going to take a quick jab step to the outside. One more time, he's throwing his punch. I just got to get off the center line where he's aiming for. I'm just moving out just enough so he doesn't hit my head, and that's how you take a step first here. Putting that together, I'm going to parry, step here, right? One more time, here. Now I'm on the outside of Jeremy here. What I'm going to do here is now pivot. So I'm going to plant my foot, the one I just took a step with, and turn my other foot over here. This gives me distance and puts me in a position where he can't attack me. So I'm in a much more safer and more advantageous position now. From here, you can decide if you want to push him away, punch him, whatever it is that you feel like you can't get to a safer position.